Hey Spuddies, I'm excited about this one. Super Spuddy Bob Page is in the house today. Bob is a superstar already in weight loss, but he recently decided to do a month of only potatoes, and I'm really excited to hear to share with you about how that went for him. This is after already having lost 150 pounds on his own, as you'll hear about how he did it. He's lost 150 pounds, and then he decided to do a month of potatoes only to see how that felt. And I'm excited to share it with you. And part of his story is running 5Ks per day for 580 days straight. That's crazy. It's amazing. I love this guy. I love his story. I love his enthusiasm, and I love how he thinks about food and life, and I love his zero quit attitude. So let's get into it. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and also click the links below to find out more and get involved. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy. So here we are with Bob. Bob, welcome to
Hey,
SpudFit. Thanks for joining us, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be talking to you. Could you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself so the people watching get to know you a bit.
sure. I'm Bob Page. I live out here in Orlando, Florida. Um, Basically, I've lived my life as just a pretty lazy fat guy. And I was about to turn 50 years old and was freaking out a little bit. Both my parents had passed away at the age of 68, 2 years apart, but at 68. And I was like, that's less than 20 years away from me. It's 18 years away. That's crazy. So I went to a doctor and was like, hey, she's like, yeah, you're morbidly obese. This is ridiculous. She's like, well, but I can help you. We can make a change. And if you don't change, you will die early, just like your parents did. So I got on a pretty clean eating habit, started walking, which became this 5K everyday thing, which I did for 580 days. Um, and I dropped about 150 pounds. So, and I've become just a runner, with the Missing Chins group.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that story because obviously I've got my history with a weird sort of crazy challenge that I did, and so yeah, your little story there with your challenge sort of that tickles me a bit. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did you come up with this 5K a day thing? Because I just love it.
Yeah, we're about to take a family vacation to Ireland, and I'd started to lose a little bit of weight. And I was like, if we're going to go to Ireland, we're going to be walking a ton. So I should get in a little bit of shape. So I committed to like, I'm going to walk a mile a day, mile a day. I did that for like a month or so before the trip to Ireland. And then we walked way more than a mile a day every day in Ireland. It was amazing. But then we came home, and literally the next day I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to push harder than a mile. I'm going to commit to at least a 5K every single day. And initially I was walking, and I would like, and the other part of this whole thing is I posted every single day, this 5K, just so I would have some accountability to my friends and family so they could shame me if I ever quit. And, and, you start becoming competitive with yourself. You're walking faster. You're keeping track of your times, and but even still, I would hashtag my post, never run, walk fast. But next thing you know, you're like, well, I could run to that house, or I could run to the stop sign. I could run this whole street. And it took me about 3 or 4 months, and I'd ran the entire 5K the entire time. And I finished, and I was like, well, if you could run it once, you could run it every single time. And then from that point forward, I ran every single one. Um, I had like through hurricanes, I had the flu once. You just do it. I probably would still be doing it today, um, but about a year ago is when I stopped it. We were full training for this Florida coast to coast race with the Missing Chins, where it's a relay race, 205 miles, and there's going to be more miles than I ever put in that type of a time frame. And the day after it was finished, I was like, nah, I think I'm going to take a day off, and that's when the streak ended. And then pretty much I still run 5 days a week though. My mileage is probably higher than what it was when I was running only 5Ks every day.
Yeah. Well, you're an athlete now. I think it's fair to say you're a genuine athlete now, and you know, a genuine athlete wouldn't just go and say, "I'm just going to do the same thing every day, every day, every day." You're gonna vary sessions. You're gonna do speed sessions. You're gonna do longer and
Exactly.
slower sessions, and you know, you're a serious runner now, so you got to train in a serious way. So, but I just love that. How many days in a row did you do? 500 and something?
580.
That's awesome. I think that's just the
Yeah.
best. So, and I loved how you talked about that. You know, in the beginning you were just walking, and that's pretty.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, not everyone can, but pretty much everyone can struggle through and walk a 5K. Pretty much everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, there's a few people that are in serious bad shape that couldn't do it, but most people
Sure.
can. It might take a long time and it might be a struggle, but most people can get through it. So that starting point that you chose is an accessible starting point for everyone. So yeah, I love it. That's great. And
Yeah. It was quite the journey.
yeah, I bet. And
It, along the way, I mean, you don't realize it. Like I was just posting all those posts, so I'd have my own personal accountability and stuff. But then next thing you know, people are like, "Oh, this is inspiring. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to lose weight." And now I've got like this core group of people that we kind of stay in touch with. There's still a guy. I think he's getting close to 580 now,
yeah,
because he started it not long after I did, but or about maybe it was a while after I did, but he's still going. Him and his brother were doing it. They're twins, but his brother dropped out, and it's just the one guy still doing it. But it's crazy. It's cool to see. It's awesome.
yeah, your own little personal experiment has had a ripple effect and influenced other people's a lot like mine. So yeah,
Yeah, you would know a lot. You would know a lot about that.
yeah. Well, it's incredible to me. Like I just it was something that genuinely it was just something I was doing for myself, and suddenly it took off, and other people started doing it too. And yeah, you have no idea the sort of influence you can have on the world just by focusing on yourself and getting improving something about yourself, and it just has a huge effect. So yeah, this is massive. And you mentioned the Missing Chins Run Club. I think probably a lot of
Yep.
people watching don't know anything about that. So can you tell us a little bit about what that is and at what point in your journey did that sort of come into play for you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without the missing chins, which is pretty amazing. Um, so the missing chins, an overview, a guy Josh Lajani in Louisiana also has a tremendous weight loss story and become an ultra runner and just incredible. Look that guy up, Josh Lajani, if you've never heard of him. But he started this little club, with a bunch of former fat guys that were now runners. And it was a secret thing on Facebook, where fat guys could talk to other fat guys about the problems fat guys have when they're trying to lose weight and need somebody to kick them in the rear end a little bit and make them go so they don't give up on one another. It became a little bit of a brotherhood, a little secret group on Facebook. And it's blown up a little bit. And Josh is kind of a big deal. He's an author. He's been on a bunch of TV. Um, so the group is kind of blown up a little bit. I think there's roughly around 300 guys in the group. I mean, literally around the world, like Australia.
Yeah, well, I'm
Um,
there.
yeah, you're in the. I mean, we got a guy in Singapore. There's guys in England, and a bunch of people, obviously, here in the states. Um, but it's just got to a point where, like, I think there's a core group of guys there, and they all kind of had the same feeling. Like this really works for us. This missing chins process, this brotherhood, this literally a brotherhood who will definitely pick you up and drag you to go do something to make sure you go get it done. So you're not giving up on yourself type of attitude, never quit, type attitude. Um, it's we felt like we just needed to take it maybe a little bit broader, a little bit more public. So there's a lifestyle page now. You can Google it or hunt it down on Facebook, but that's out there as well. And it's just it's pretty amazing. And those guys, I mean, we all try to get together once or twice a year, someplace. I mean, Leadville's kind of like a big thing. The Florida Coast to Coast race was pretty amazing with those guys coming down here and running. So yeah, it's just it's essentially a support group for fat guys.
Yeah, yeah, and it is a different kind of group. Like the attitude in the group is different to like any other group I've been a part of. It's a real no holds barred kind of.
Yep.
It's just the hard truth. You know, there's not a lot of sugarcoating of anything in there. It's the hard truth, and yeah, it's good. I like it that way. So yeah, it's all about just no excuses, leave the bullshit at the door and just get it done.
Yeah. That's it. No excuses. Do the work. Zero quit.
Yeah,
That's
that's good.
it.
I love that hashtag that you use often on your post, zero quit. That's great.
Yep.
So your lifestyle change obviously has not been all about running. You mentioned diet a little bit earlier. So tell us a little bit about how your diet changed back in the beginning and then how it's evolved as well.
Sure. And initially, when I lost probably a big bulk of the weight, really, I did, just your typical, I cut out carbs, I ate smaller portions, I moved more. So, and I ate healthier food. You know, I was never a big veggie eater, but I started eating a bunch more veggies. And along the way, I just made the flip and went plant based, and I've been on a plant-based diet now just over a year. So, so about a year or so, I lost a bunch of weight. In the last year or so, I've been plant-based, and I'm not been perfect with it by any means. But I've not eaten meat or dairy in a year, so that's pretty good. But you can also get caught up in the vegan, junk food thing, and that's kind of realistically where the whole Spud Fit thing came in for me, because I was to a point where um, I was eating healthy ish. I don't even know if it's healthy, but I was eating vegan. I was eating vegan, but I was seeing, the old saying is true, you can't outrun a bad diet. And I was still logging a ton of miles, but I wasn't losing any more weight. I gained a little bit of weight, and I started seeing the scale go the other way. And a good friend, Matt Buckner, also a missing chin, who I wouldn't be anything without. That dude's amazing. And
I'll have to talk to
he
him
said,
sometime too.
yeah, he was like, you should, we're going to, talk to Andrew. We should do this Spud Fit thing. If we're going to do it, let's do it. And I was like, and I'm a sucker. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm all in.
No, that's great. So tell us about that experience then. How how was that for you? I know it's people always tend to have different experiences depending on your background, and I relate to your background because I was vegan before I did my Spud Fit challenge as well. But yeah, obviously a lot of junk food, and you don't get to be 100 pounds heavier than I am now by eating a healthy diet. So yeah, I was eating a
Yeah,
vegan junk food diet. I always say that vegan ice cream is probably healthier than dairy ice cream, but the lesser of two evils is still evil. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So no, I can relate to your story with that, and yeah, how did it go for you? You did a month, right, of only potatoes?
We did 30 days through February. We tacked on the extra day, with a leap year only being
Yeah,
29 days this year. So we tacked on March 1st and made it a full 30 days. And going in, obviously I was just worried, nervous, because as a heavy set, big, morbidly obese dude, I kind of was like, I'm kind of a foodie. I like this, I like that. I'll eat some weird stuff, so flavors and all that are kind of a big deal. And I like potatoes, but geez, potatoes for a month only? Are you kidding me?
yeah,
So I think initially, like the first week or so, I was all in, because I was like, I'm gonna make some great shit with potatoes. This is gonna be awesome. We'll cook them, and then we'll air fry them, and then we'll this and we'll add that. And I was like, well, you can't really add a lot of stuff. It's just some seasoning and a little bit of condiments. No cheese, no blah blah blah. Not even vegan cheese. So I was like, all right, all right. But I mean, I still tried to be creative and had fun with it. But literally, like a week and a half or 2 weeks in, I was like, it's just so much easier to just eat some gold potatoes with some hot sauce.
yeah,
um, but I think for me, it was so ridiculously eye opening just to realize, even though I was eating vegan, the amount of stuff that I would just put in my mouth and how often that I would do it. and stuff that I was like you don't get a lot for what you're getting,
Yeah.
basically, or you get way more calories than what you're putting in your mouth, and you're like, oh sure, it tastes good, but that was a spoonful. I could have had two giant potatoes. So um, I don't know, but I think I did well, just mentally realizing how many bad choices I was still making, even though I was vegan, eating, and how often, like, why are you eating that? What are you even eating for? Stop it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd lost 150 pounds and I put 20 of it back on, and I was going in the wrong direction. And I was like, yeah, you're making poor choices again. This is how it starts. This is how it happens. So for me, it was a great, like, reset, wake up call. Like, oh, you need to get it. You need to reel it back in a little bit. Bring it back to where it should be. And once I got that mentally in my head, it was a piece of cake. I was all in. Let's just do potatoes. I'm eating potatoes.
Yeah.
Um, I had a trip to New York City, a business trip in between, and that was really difficult. It's a little bit awkward going out to, like, business dinners and stuff like that, but I don't care. I just go about my business, and I'm like, people. It also, it opened the door for me to talk about it a little bit more, which I think is so helpful. If you have people that you can talk to about what you're doing, what you're going through, it makes it so much easier. So I kind of opened up the door to talk about it a little bit more to people that I probably wouldn't have talked to it, or didn't have anybody with me I could talk about it at the time.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think I was way more worried than I should have been going in. I think it's always good to be a little hesitant just so you're self-aware.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Once I felt like I clicked mentally, it was a breeze for me.
That's great.
Um,
Yeah. I think you've,
and people,
sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, even people are like, "Well, what's your next meal going to be when you're done eating potatoes?" Well, and I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't even a big deal, a big concern. And honestly, I don't even remember what I ate. I would probably have to go back and look at a post to see what I ate, because it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And then I'll still be eating potatoes. People are like, "You're still doing that potato thing?" I'm like, "No, but I mean, it's really good for you, and it's not a big deal, and it's simple, and it's cheap, and it's delicious."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, people are always surprised that I still eat a lot of potatoes. People always think, oh, you must be so sick of them now. I'm like, no, they're good. And I relate to your
yeah,
last meal thing too. Is I remember my first meal after a year of potatoes. It was broadcast on national TV on a morning show. The first time I ate something that wasn't a potato, and for the few weeks leading up to it, I was just getting all these questions about what I'm going to eat, and I'm like, I just don't care. Like, I don't care what I'm going to eat. And then ended up, we had this big breakfast party on New Year's Day, and we had a caterer come in to make all the food for this breakfast, and it was a friend of mine, and she asked what I wanted to eat. And in the end, I just got sick of trying to like answer these questions, and I said, look, this is going to be broadcast on national TV. It's a good opportunity for you to advertise your catering company. So why don't you just make the thing that looks best on camera, and
nice.
just advertise your company. And
That's
yeah, that was
awesome.
all it was. And yeah, I just didn't really care. But one thing I do remember was that I had the last thing I ate was some pineapple, and it was just amazing, like just intense flavor and so delicious. And I can remember an hour after I ate it, I could still taste it in my mouth. The way your taste buds change is incredible. So that was this is about you, not me. So I'm doing a bit too much talking, but uh,
No, that's awesome.
but
That's
yeah, did you
great
notice
story.
that about a change in your taste buds? Did things taste more intense to you afterwards, or how did that go?
Yeah, for me, like, I was always like a hardcore chocolate guy. Like, I just loved, like, rich, dark chocolate. Um, and now it's so rare that I really get to eat stuff like that. Um, but the thing that, like, I crave the most and seeing other people eating is my mother-in-law, like, forever with, like, fresh fruit bowls, and I would see that and I'd be like, oh, I just want that. I can't have it. It was the only thing I, like, wanted. So I remember, like, the first time I got, like, that fresh fruit bowl. It's just berries and stuff, but I was like, oh, it was just like the best ever. It was cold, it was crisp, it was perfect.
Oh, great. And one thing actually that I've never done, and I still haven't done, but I've seen you post about it a couple of times, and I'm going to have to do it soon. Is I really like your fruit wrap idea. Just tell people
Yeah.
about that, because that's a new thing for me. Normally, I don't ask people about recipes because I think they're not important. Just eat whole foods and all that. But I like this one because it's something I haven't seen before. So tell people watching about that.
Like clearly the Spud Fit challenge opened my eyes that I had a problem with peanut butter. Um, and it's just a downfall that I have. So I'm like, how am I still going to get a little bit of peanut butter? So every once in a while, I just take a regular tortilla. I don't heat it up. I don't cook it. Just lay it out, spread just a little bit of peanut butter on it. And then I literally take my mother-in-law's little fruit bowl she makes for me and dump it into the thing and wrap it up and eat it like a burrito or a taco.
Yeah, that's
And it's
great.
delicious. It's one of my favorites now. I had one today.
Yeah, that's great. I still haven't tried it, but I'm definitely going to try it. I try to avoid peanut butter myself. Like I would very, very rarely have peanut butter, but I might make a little exception for that.
I didn't realize I loved peanut butter as much as I did until I was like, wow, you're not eating peanut butter at all for a whole month.
Yeah,
So I've cut dramatically way back, which is good because you don't realize like a spoonful is 150 calories.
yeah.
That's ridiculous,
Yeah,
So
potato.
yeah. So um, just try to be super careful with it. But yeah, it's delicious. It's a problem.
Yeah. So what we talked about the change to your attitude to food that you saw over that month. Did you see any physical changes over the month of only potatoes?
Uh, I lost 22 pounds, which is incredible because I
Wow,
was probably eating anywhere between 3 and 6 pounds of potatoes a day. So
amazing.
it
That's
just works.
yeah. And how did it
I
affect
mean,
your running as well? I
uh,
do get a lot of people asking if it's okay to exercise when you're eating only potatoes. Or, how did that go for you?
I got, I didn't notice any change in like me being more tired because I wasn't eating all the other food that I would normally be eating. I felt exactly the same. I felt like I had enough nutrition. Um, I mean, occasionally I will get dehydrated because I really have to push myself to drink water, push.
Yeah.
So I literally walk around with a cup all the time, drinking water, drinking water.
Yeah.
Um, and I never even had like that type of a feeling. And I was putting up, between 40 and 55 miles a week.
Yeah, amazing. Well, this is awesome. It's almost time to get moving, but your experience with losing weight and getting healthy is obviously far bigger than just Spud Fit Challenge. That the Spud Fit Challenge came recently, and your whole thing
Right.
started a lot earlier. So I'm curious about your advice for someone who's just at that beginning point. How would you encourage people to get started, or what? For most people, it's about trying to take the first step, and people have a lot of trouble with just taking that step. So, what's your advice for how to make that happen?
I think the exact same thing that I needed to take away from it is what I think everybody really needs to take away. And that is, it's just such a good reset for whatever point in your life and diet you're in, whether you're just starting out or whether you lost 150 pounds. If you've kind of lost your way somewhere along the way, it's just an amazing reset that like mentally you can completely focus on what you're putting in your mouth. It's made completely simple and easy for you. So I think that's the biggest takeaway is that it's just a good reset. So if you're just like I'm just overweight and I want to go on a diet, well, here's a great way to start and reset. Or I've lost a bunch of weight but now I'm kind of stuck, I'm not losing weight, I'm plateaued, well, here's a good reset.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what I get from it.
yeah. It's sort of there's nowhere to hide, is there? It forces you to think about what you're doing, because if you think, whether you're feeling bored or stressed or tired or whatever, and you say, I think I just need a snack. And then you go to the fridge and you went, oh, hang on, there's the only option potatoes. Do I really want a
Yeah,
snack?
that's it.
But
Ah,
yeah. And sometimes the answer is yes, and that's okay. And sometimes the answer is, well, no, actually, I don't need that food. And yeah, just it forces you to change the way you behave. There's no other way around it. So Yeah.
I certainly bit into an ice cold potato that was just sitting in my fridge as a leftover and was like, all right, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. All right. So what are the plans? I know you've got your Missing Chins podcast. What are future plans for you? Do you well actually I guess right now with the state of the world it's hard to make future plans. Did you have any plans for races that have
Yeah.
been cancelled or
Yeah. I've had like 3 or 4 different races that have been canceled and not canceled. They're always postponed. I
yeah.
haven't had any completely like, we're just done. Here's your money back.
Yeah.
Um, and we had the coast to coast race, but that got postponed and then canceled for other reasons. And we did get our money back, but everything is, pushed off,
Yeah.
to September, so we're going to wait and see, and hopefully it happens. I think for runners, you're going to see a big uptick in virtual races,
Yeah.
where you just kind of go run your own thing. We might even be trying to put one together with a missing chin type deal and, try to pull off something silly because that's just what we do. But yeah, I think virtual races will kind of become a thing for a while. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Everything's up in the air.
Yeah. Oh.
Hopefully it all turns out well. Like if you're watching this in like 6 years and you're like, well, what are they even talking about? Google it. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was actually, I'm not sure what's happening now, but I was booked in to travel to the US later this year in October, and yeah, and I was hoping that I would be able to come and meet few of you guys, my Chins brothers, but there's been no official word, but I'm guessing that's probably not going
Right.
to happen. But who knows? Maybe sometime in the future we'll get to run together.
That would be awesome. I mean, I'd hate to think that, we're just going to be locked down forever like this. So hopefully by October, maybe things will be back to normal. It'd be great to have you over here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hope so too. Either way, it'll happen sometime.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining
No,
me
thank you, man.
and yeah, all the best with you. And if anyone's watching that wants to do 5Ks a day, what do you say to those? Last thing.
Absolutely start
Yeah.
and just start moving. Hunt me down on Instagram. I'll help. Whatever I can do to help.
All right. And where can people find you if they want to listen to your podcast?
Just go missingchinspodcast.com.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for being an inspiration, and
Ah,
yeah, thanks for helping spread
just
the good word.
just a guy.
All right. All
All
right.
right, man. Thanks, dude.
That's that. What a story. Incredible, right? I hope you enjoyed it like I did. Amazing guy. I hope you pulled something out of that. I hope you're inspired to go and run 5Ks and see where it takes you. I'm sure it'll be further than it's greater than the sum of its parts. These 5K runs, they add up to a lot more than you think. So yeah, I hope that's inspired you to eat some more potatoes, eat some more whole plant foods, go out and hit the road and run, and keep that zero quit attitude going. So yeah, thanks for Bob for sharing his story. Thanks everyone here for watching, and again, like, subscribe, comment, share, and please click the links below to get involved and learn more. Spud up everyone, and run up. Go running. See ya.